Okay, my record is on. Okay, we will get started. All right, welcome to class 3 for our Win from Within weight loss program. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all of you are on mute. If you need anything during the call and you have a thought or a question, before we do Q&A at the end, feel free to raise your hand and I'll unmute you from my side so that I can take advantage of answering that question in the moment. If it's a question that can wait till the end, again, we'll do Q&A at the end, and we're going to cover a lot of material this week. It's going to be so exciting. I'm really excited about this week. So thank you for joining me, and welcome to our friends who are going to be watching the replay. I appreciate you making the time to watch this as well. This class is going to be very powerful at this stage in the game in realigning our commitment and really supporting us from a place of empowerment and positive thoughts and action. So with that, we're going to get started. First and foremost, I want to hop on and do a quick recap of week 2. I want to make sure that we're all on board with what's been going on and what to expect as we move forward. I have sent out the paperwork to support the learning for week 3 material, and in there, I'm asking you to please complete your Google form and get that submitted prior to our coaching call for sure. And if by chance you're not having a coaching call, I'm asking you to please have that submitted by the end of Wednesday night, which is the 17th. I really lean on those papers to see how everyone is doing, and that helps me to support you in a positive way, whether we're having a one-on-one coaching call or if we're sharing information back and forth through Slack or text. Please continue in your food journaling habit. This is very important. Again, it's increasing our awareness and our accountability and ownership for the choices that we're making. Even if you eat something off plan, I want it on your food journal, because then it's going to just increase your thoughtfulness to what's going on in your life, and it will encourage you to make better choices further in the day or further in the week. Protocol. We want to make sure that you are planning your protocol 24 hours in advance. You want to write down exactly what you intend to eat the next day, and then you'll want to honor and follow that plan with exactness. Now, as I have mentioned to several of you, I like to do a protocol for 2 or 3 days in advance because it eliminates the decision making that I have to do. You are welcome to do it at 1 day in advance, 2, 3, or 4, whatever works for you. The benefit of doing your protocol ahead of time, though, is it eliminates the room for negotiation, and it eliminates the need for you to make decisions and eat off plan. So already you're going to be increasing your opportunity for success. That being said, I want to let you know I'm seeing really, really wonderful results coming in from our clients, and it is from our friends who are following journaling and protocol with exactness. Those are the gals who are really starting to pick up that momentum and see change come about. So please know that these tools work. They do require follow through and commitment, and by doing those things, you're putting the advantages on your side, okay? We're going to speak to compelling reason, and I'm going to invite you to fine-tune your compelling reason as we move through our material today. Continue with your thought download and your model work. Many of you are doing a beautiful job with this concept. And last week we had the opportunity to clarify any misconceptions or any questions that existed around thought download and the model. This is going to be an important game changer as we move forward from week 3 through week 8. So again, if there's any questions with thought download and model, we need to visit. And I did provide some updated materials that speak to the purpose of the thought download and the purpose of the model, and really implementing those effectively. Please read your material if you've not already done so. Again, I will be out of town from the 22nd to the 28th. I'm not going to be doing coaching during that particular week, as I will be just doing some personal catch up and trying to adjust to that jet lag that I'm anticipating. That being said, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance for coaching this week before I leave town. If you're not on my schedule, and if there isn't a time showing up on my schedule that complements your availability, please reach out to me with an email or a text, and I will do my best to accommodate you. I really want you to have that one-on-one experience, because that's where a lot of the personal enlightenment is occurring and where really solid questions and answers are coming in. And we're making such terrific strides together through that private opportunity. So please let me be a support to you this week before I am gone. As of the 29th, we're going to start class at 9 a.m. and we'll continue with that time frame moving forward for our Monday class meetings. I apologize for changing it partway through our session. I have a learning opportunity that I need to take advantage of on my Mondays at 10 o'clock. So this is going to work to my advantage. I hope it will work to your advantage as well. And again, we always will have the recorded learnings that you can draw on. That being said, the last announcement, I have some bonus material I want to provide you at the very end of our class. So I have a little incentive for you to stay through our entire class because I have a giveaway I'm sending your direction that I think you're going to be very excited about. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our materials. Okay. There we go. The motivational triad. All right. This is something that we spoke to previously and we touched on, and it's something that is very important for us to understand. As human beings, we oftentimes default to using our primitive brain. From this space, we naturally want to seek pleasure, we want to avoid pain, and we want to exert the least amount of energy possible. This is the default setting that we come with as we're wired to experience our journey in life. The motivational triad impacts everyone, and without our more purposeful brain and making decisions from our prefrontal cortex, we would get nothing accomplished. We would never experience growth and evolvement. We would never achieve goals, and we would never push ourselves into that next level of potential that we desire. Now, our kids do a really good job of demonstrating this existence in this avoid pain, seek pleasure, and exert the least amount of energy possible. A lot of times when we want our kids on board with doing their homework, doing some chores around the house, doing some yard work, we're met with the motivational triad. Kids naturally want to seek pleasure and indulge in those more selfish behaviors, those more pleasure-seeking behaviors. And likewise, we are no exception. Now, as adults, we've learned how to overcome some of these natural tendencies. But interestingly enough, when it comes to our food choices, we can fall prey to the motivational triad. As you can see in this picture, you're like, oh, well, those cookies, they're decorated with fruit and it's beautiful and fruit is good for me, so I should be able to have the cookie, right? The eating opportunities and the eating choices that are available to us are very, very sneaky. We have to be so thoughtful in making better choices so we don't give into the temptation even when something looks appealing and appears to be yummy and delicious and potentially good for us. Underneath those beautiful slices of fruit, we know that there is sugar and flour and preservatives, things that are not going to support us in losing our weight and are actually going to work against us. So be very thoughtful as this motivational triad is trying to come on board with you during this time that you're committed to the program. You're going to want to naturally give into these tendencies, into these temptations, into these desires of pleasure. And we have to be very purposeful and intentional in saying no to the temptation so that we can say yes to ourselves. Okay, I came across this quote from Jim Rohn that I absolutely love. He is an incredible thought leader. If you are not familiar with his work, I suggest that maybe you do some Googling or some listening to the materials that he has available. He passed away, probably 15 years ago, but he's a brilliant mind and shared the quotes today that I want us to focus on. Failure means we have a few errors in judgment repeated every day. Success means that we have a few simple disciplines that we practice every day. Now, initially when we slip into failure we indulge in one of those sugar cookies, we might think to ourselves, this isn't a big deal, I'm just having a sugar cookie. But oftentimes, one day of an exception will lead to two, and two will lead to three. And pretty soon, we're way off track of the path that we truly want to be on. Now, Having said this, you may also think, well, it's just one cookie. It's really not going to matter. But it's the cumulative effect that impacts us so negatively. If we're having one cookie, then the chances are good that we're going to be indulging in French fries. Chances are good that we're going to allow ourselves to have a piece of pizza instead of a salad when it comes to dinner. And these cumulative effects start to have this compound impact upon us. And pretty soon, within a week or two, we're completely off track and we've actually gained a few extra pounds. Okay? So yes, it matters. Honoring our commitment to our plan matters. Likewise, on the flip side of the chart, our few simple disciplined practices also matter. Increasing our water, increasing our fruits and vegetables, going for the walk around the block. On day 1 and day 2, you're going to question whether there's any value coming from this practice. And you may say to yourself, is this worth my effort? Am I really gaining anything positive by staying committed to my protocol, staying committed to increasing my water, and taking advantage of having these exercise opportunities in my daily schedule? The answer is yes. As many of you know, I have picked up running within the last year, and I recently completed a 10-mile race just 2 weeks ago with a friend. Now, I'm going to tell you, in June of last year, I was sitting at about 180 pounds, and I was doing zero running, zero. I had to really make a conscious effort and a conscious decision to be consistent with my simple practices of getting myself out the door and even starting at the half mile and the 1 mile mark. By being committed to my success, I was able to slowly increase my distance and also my efforts, and I was able to start putting wins on my side. And I was able to start experiencing that cumulative effect, that positive impact of the repetitious behavior, the repetitious successful behavior. So please be very mindful. It requires the really intentional and purposeful part of our brain to support us in that action, and it is completely possible. We want to do everything we can to accumulate those wins and experience success so that we're going to reach our end goal and have a successful outcome, which in this case is weight loss. Okay. Now, one of our friends in our group sent me this cute picture, Jillian, and I asked Jillian if I could have permission to use her picture on a blog post that I made. Jillian and I had an opportunity to coach privately about making decisions ahead of time. And she works a hectic schedule in the hotel industry over in New York City. As we were coaching together, we discussed the importance of not only making decisions ahead of time, but also being very thoughtful to our commitment and our compelling reason. And so she took the opportunity to send this picture in to me, showing that she was owning her decisions and recognizing that her decisions would be leading to her results. So I just want to reassure you that regardless of your schedule, regardless of your family dynamics, regardless of all those outside circumstances that are at work in everyone's lives, you can do it. You are capable of making those decisions ahead of time. And by doing so, you're going to set yourself up for success. Okay? So great job, Jillian. Thank you for being an example to me and also to the success of our group. Okay, I want to come into this compelling reason and speak to compelling reason and commitment for a few minutes. In coaching with many of you last week, we discussed compelling reason. And for a lot of you, you're feeling very inspired with the goal of having better health. You're feeling very inspired with the goal of wanting to feel better in your skin and feel better in your clothing and have increased self-confidence and self-esteem. Those are important reasons. And of course, this is ultimately the end goal that we want to have. In coaching with another friend of ours that's in this group, we were able to take her compelling reason and really dial it in and make it more of a fine-tuned compelling reason and commitment. If you're sitting in a space where your compelling reason is still broad, I'm inviting you to do the work to find that particular reason that really sets you on fire, that really gets you excited, and that really increases the level of commitment, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be something grand, and it doesn't have to be something that someone else might deem, worthy. This is all very personal to you and what you want to accomplish. Last fall, I had a client that I was coaching in weight loss who desired to do an outdoor run with her son. And we started in October, and her goal was to be able to do a Christmas 5K run with her son, okay? We knew that this would require consistency, commitment, and honoring a schedule of getting out there and putting the time and effort in so that she could take care of this goal and really reach the end goal of running the 5K with her son successfully. Prior to this, her compelling reason was, well, I just want to feel good in my clothes, which was very, very broad. So we took some time to dial it in, and we found a trigger. We found a positive motivator that really helped her to stay in alignment with her goal and fine-tune her efforts and fine-tune her focus. And for her, having this running opportunity and taking advantage of a quality experience with her son was just what she needed. So please take some time to do some work on that compelling reason. Whatever it is, maybe you have a special event that you're going to at the end of the year, the end of the school year, where you're going to be recognized and honored for some volunteer work. Maybe it's a upcoming family vacation at Memorial Day, and you want to be able to pull on a swimsuit, or you want to pull on some of those summer clothes with more confidence and feel really good about being on the boat and enjoying quality time with your family. Dial it in and get committed. Your compelling reason is going to support your commitment. It needs to be strong. And then your commitment is going to empower you to honor your word, to handle those unplanned circumstances that come around, and we all know that they do. It's going to support you in managing your desire and your urges, and it's also going to take away opportunity to make excuses to yourself or justifications, okay? Now, I'm going to pause for just a moment and grab something. I'm going to show you what my compelling reason is right now, because I'm doing this work side by side with you. Do not want you to question at all where my level of commitment is. I am in this 100% with you girls. Okay. So this is a beautiful dress that I found at Dillard's, and I fell in love with this dress, and it was an expensive dress. It's a Calvin Klein. Now, I want to wear this for Easter services, and that is really important to me. I want to be able to wear this, and I want to feel like $1 million, and I want to look and radiate feelings of springtime and life and energy and all the beautiful emotions that come around. Look at the bottom. Isn't the bottom fun? All the beautiful emotions that come around with a new season and a new focus in life. So this is my compelling reason right now. I have this beautiful dress hanging actually on my towel rod in my bathroom. Okay, thank you for indulging me. I have this dress hanging on my towel rod in my bathroom, and it reminds me of my upcoming goal, my upcoming commitment, and what I really want. I love beautiful dresses. And so for me, spending a little bit of money on that dress and knowing that, gosh, within 5 pounds, I'm going to be able to wear that dress and feel so confident and so beautiful and really just take in all the beautiful feelings that come with spring and Easter, that meant a lot to me. That's my compelling reason right now, is this beautiful dress. And I have another one in mind that I'm actually going to be moving into after the dress. My sister, who I adore, is coming to town at the end of May, the middle to the end of May. And she is just one of my heroes. I love being with her, and she always encourages me to really show up in the best way possible for myself. Knowing that she's coming, I want to be able to go and do a weight class with her over at this local gym in my area. So that, again, is another compelling reason that I'm really holding on to and really embracing, so that I'm working hard every day to handle my unplanned circumstances, my urges, and my justifications. Knowing that Stephanie's coming to town and that we're going to have quality time together, and that we can go do this class together is going to be such a fun shared experience. So find that really, really important, compelling reason that sets you on fire, and then own it. Put some visuals around your house, put something in your car to remind you so that you will really embrace those opportunities for success in our day-to-day experiences. Okay. I have loved coaching with every single one of you. It is an honor, really. It just like warms my heart and makes me so happy to be able to have this time with you. I want you to know that in coaching with each of you, many of you have communicated to me that the reason you're doing this, of course, you're interested in losing the weight. But the more important reason that you're doing this is that you want to experience increased confidence. You want to reestablish trust and confidence with yourself. You want to know that you can honor your word and that you can follow through on your commitments to yourself. So in order to do this, girls, what it requires is that we're very, very thoughtful, planning our protocol 24 hours in advance, eating with exactness, and then honoring our eating windows, which we've spoken of as well. Right now, we're not practicing intermittent fasting. I'm going to introduce that concept next week. But right now, we are practicing honoring those eating windows, whether it's breakfast and lunch, lunch and dinner, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Right now, you get to decide what those eating windows are. Honor the windows. Don't snack in between. Don't overindulge. Listen to your hunger cues. Listen to your purpose as to why you're eating. Are you fueling and being very intentional with your food, or have you slipped into a joy eat or a fog eat? Be very purposeful with your food and your eating windows. And I absolutely promise you that this is going to help reestablish a positive relationship with yourself. We all deserve to feel levels of trust, confidence, honor, and follow through with ourselves. And first and foremost, it's most important that we are taking care of ourselves. Because when we take care of ourselves with love and compassion, and we're putting positive deposits on our side of the bank account, then we can meet all the other people in our lives with greater love and compassion as well. And we're actually able to be of better service to those individuals in our lives, okay? So I am right there with you. I am 100% behind you. And when you feel your commitment wavering at all, remember, you matter and you deserve this win. Okay. All right, friends, here's the new concept for the week. No sugar, no flour. Now, I don't want to let this scare you, and I don't want you to freak out. It's completely possible. Now, having said this, it requires more of that purposeful thinking that we spoke of earlier, and I'm going to assure you that at some point in time, you're going to think that you're going to die. When I initially was giving up sugar and flour, I felt like a 3-year-old having tantrums. It's hard. This is a hard commitment to take on, but it is a game changer. I promise you, it's a game changer. When we give up sugar and flour, we regulate our hormones and we allow our body to come into more of a natural space of balance, and we naturally start to shed the weight and come back into our space of our ideal weight, where our body wants to be, that perfect point. Additionally, you're going to start feeling so much better as well. And you're going to have more sustained energy that comes from those fueling foods rather than that short-term kind of energy where you experience an energy high and then a drop and a plunge, okay? The reason we want to eliminate sugar and flour is because when these substances come into our bodies in such highly concentrated forms, it activates the dopamine within our brain. It stimulates that dopamine and impacts us negatively. We get conditioned to think that we need that hit, that we need that rush. And the sugar and flour is just as addictive to us as recreational drug substances can be. This has been proven through a number of studies. Sugar and flour, in the concentrated amounts that we have available to us through society, through our grocery stores, through our entertainment, they are just all around negative impact for us across the board, okay? We end up like seeking it out. We end up getting addicted to it. We end up having negative associations with it. and it sabotages our opportunities for success. Ultimately, what it really is doing is it's screwing up our hormones. We end up having increased levels of insulin on board, which insulin helps us to hold on to and do our fat storage. And it restricts our body from being able to lower that insulin level, come into more of a balance with insulin, and tap into our fat reserves. So this week, I'm inviting you to give up sugar and flour 100%. This will be your choice. This is your program, and you get to own your decisions. And certainly, you need to do what feels good to you and what you know you're capable of doing. I want to promise you, you will start to see a very positive change, and you'll start to see these pounds shed away if you can give up the sugar and the flour and if you can stay on board. Know that there will be some challenges along the way, and I do have some strategies that we can put into place to support you in this moment. In fact, in the reading material that I sent you toward the end, I specifically spoke to 7 specific strategies that you can utilize to overcome this urge when it comes into your space. So I want to invite you to read this worksheet with great care and find those strategies that will set you up for success. Know how you respond when you experience discomfort, and then lean on the strategy that you most have success with, and let that empower you to honor your commitment to no sugar, no flour. Okay, I'm going to give a very quick example. My family, we had the opportunity to go over to Peru around Christmas time, and we were able to go spend some time with a cute little group of families that live in a village. And these kids in this village truly do not have hardly any sugar or flour on board in their diet. This is a third world country, and they are eating beans, rice, potatoes, and meat and vegetables. I mean, this is what their diet consists of. We had such a good time with these friends during our time that we were there. We got to really learn about their culture and experience what life is like for them in Peru. We thought it would be fun to share a little bit of what life is like for us in the United States prior to going. And so in advance of our trip, we purchased a big box of these Fruit Chewy snacks. And we took these Fruit Chewy snacks to these children in this village. And as part of our experience in spending the day with them, we handed out these Fruit Chewy snacks to these children. Friends, they did not know what to do with the package. They had never handled a packaged food product before. And they looked at these and they held them, and even the adults, we gave them to the adults as well. They did not know how to open the package, and they did not know what to expect within this Fruit Chewy pack. So that, first off, was a real eye-opener to myself and my family, because we here in the United States, we lean on these processed and packaged foods so heavily. But what it told me is that their diet is really all about the basics. You know, they don't indulge in this kind of stuff. And they don't have experience with concentrated sugar and concentrated flour like we do. And interestingly enough, they're not overweight either. So we opened the packages for them, and we showed them what was in there, and we sampled one of the Fruit Chewy snacks so they wouldn't be afraid of eating this product. And my goodness, you would have thought it was Christmas Day. These kids were so excited. And when they tasted that concentrated sugar that's available through the Fruit Chewy snack, they were like off the charts excited. They were in heaven. And immediately, of course, their body responded to their brain, letting them know that they were receiving a concentrated sweet substance. Because sugar is not a part of their diet on a regular basis, this was, this was really impactful for them. They were just so excited. Of course, they wanted more. We ended up distributing all the Fruit Chewy snacks that we had brought, and we felt just fine about it. And we know that, we're not creating a tremendously negative impact on them and their little village for just one afternoon. But they were so excited. And one of the older adults had to actually take the Fruit Chewy snacks and hand them out in preset portions, so that the kids were having equal amounts of Fruit Chewy snacks, and it wasn't causing chaos and commotion, because they were so excited about indulging in this yummy treat. Okay, I wanted to share that with you just to kind of give you another example of how powerful sugar and flour can be in our diet. It's crazy. And so we know that we, just like these children in Peru, we're susceptible to feeling highly addicted, highly excited, and longing for more when it comes to these concentrated substances. All right. Please do the worksheet that I've provided on no sugar, no flour, and allow yourself to explore your thoughts that sit behind that, and allow yourself to do better and engage the idea and embrace that idea of doing better for yourself. If you have questions and comments and you want me to coach you through some moments when you feel like you're absolutely going to die and have a breakdown, reach out to me. That's why I'm here. Okay, I want to shift gears now from our weight loss strategy, and I want to talk about our mindset strategy. So many of you are doing a really great job with your thought download work. I hope that you have felt a benefit from this. I hope that it's allowed you to clear out some of the clutter and feel a little bit more empowered and a little bit more freed from some of those repetitive thoughts that cycle in our mind day after day. This being said, I want to invite you to do your thought download in a new and different way this week. We're going to be doing what is called a purposeful thought download. Now, you still want to have that journal or that notebook that you're going to, and if you need to have a timer set so that you're kind of keeping your efforts constrained, continue with those practices. The thing that's going to shift for us is we're going to be doing our writing exercise in a more purposeful way. I actually have sent you examples of my purposeful thought download from August of last year, when I was being very intentional with my thoughts and my actions in losing the weight that I lost. If you've not read these thought downloads, get into the material and take some time to read them. What you will notice about my purposeful thought download was that I was focused almost 100% within weight loss. I wasn't allowing all the other trickling thoughts to scatter in. My writing was focused on weight loss. I used very focused language that was positive and very empowering. I was recognizing and acknowledging all of my positive efforts that were supporting me on that day and within that space of my life. Additionally, I was speaking with intention, and I was writing with great intention and great focus as to what I was working toward. So my thought download was like a power-packed experience. And this is what was the fuel behind my fire. This was the fuel to my fire in really accelerating my weight loss and keeping me dialed in and incredibly focused so that nothing could get in my way of success. The purposeful thought download is very empowering. And of course, I'm encouraging you to do it within your weight loss focus, because that's what we're working on as a group. But if you have something else in your life that you need to take care of and that you want to clean up and fine tune, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's your discipline when it comes to honoring a night routine so you're getting enough sleep, you are welcome to extend this into other areas of your life as well. But for our objective, for our goals, I'm going to invite you to, for sure, do one purposeful thought download each day that's dialed in on your weight, all of the efforts that you're doing to support your weight right now, all of those successes that you're creating, and then what you want to be creating as well. Again, please take time to read through the samples that I sent you from my experience. They will act as a really good guide if you're having any questions in this area. Once we've accomplished a purposeful thought download, then we're going to step into doing a purposeful model. Now, this is really important to understand. This is different than the model that we've been doing, where we've just kind of been pulling the curtains back and looking at our thoughts with a more fine-tuned focus, okay? The purposeful model is intended to set you up for success in moving forward and stepping into your specified weight goal. I'm going to read through this model and I'm going to take it apart piece by piece so you understand what I'm talking about. After I did my purposeful thought download, my C, my circumstance, would be the exact weight that I presented with for that day. So on this particular day, I was presenting at 157.6 pounds. And that's the circumstance. That's the matter of fact. and it is neutral. No one would argue that I weighed 157.6 when I did this particular model. I chose a very intentional thought, and I found this thought through my writing that supports, I'm making great progress. My mind and body work perfectly together. And I put this thought onto paper because when we put our thoughts onto paper, there's something magical and empowering that happens. And it really supports us in working in that space. What we think about is what we project and what we end up creating as an end result. So my belief and my thought was, I'm making great progress. My mind and body work perfectly together to support me. From this thought, I purposefully chose the emotion of empowerment. With this feeling of empowerment, then I specified my action. I was very clear and very focused in outlining my action of following my plan, meeting my protocol plan with exactness every single day. And this action, having this action within my mind and on my paper, allowed me to feel supported and empowered in doing what I needed to do so that I would honor my protocol. From this place of action, then I generated an intentional result. My intentional result that I was working into and stepping toward was weighing 156 pounds by Sunday, August the 5th. Now, this was a purposeful result, a future-focused result that I intended to own completely, okay? So we want to use that thought download and the model to be stepping into this future space of a desired outcome. The beautiful thing about where we are in this process right now is that I was setting micro goals. I was setting stair-stepping kinds of goals. And ultimately, my goal was to weigh 145. But now, as you can see, though, I had only altered my model by 1.6 pounds from where I was at in the circumstance line to where I desired to be in my result line. That was very intentional. I wanted to stair-step my way through progress. And I knew that my end goal was 145. But when you're sitting at 157 pounds and you have 12 pounds to lose, that feels pretty big. It can feel overwhelming and daunting. And I needed to set myself up for success by having lots of small wins accumulate in my behalf. So this stair-stepping process that you're going to do throughout your day-to-day writing and throughout your week-to-week windows is going to be huge. I promise you. It's very, very powerful. And by setting that end goal of 156 pounds, my mind and my feelings and my actions were able to work to my benefit in propelling me forward. Now, I can't explain 100% as to the why and how, behind why it works. What I can tell you is it works. And I truly believe that when we align our thoughts and we align our purpose, then I truly believe that things, actions, the universe, our choices, the elements in our lives, they come forth and they present in a very proactive way in our own behalf because we want to be supported in our goals. And goals, of course, are the purposeful things that we desire and work toward in our lives. Okay? I also sent a copy of this calendar that I want you to look at. And I'm going to talk you through this calendar for a moment so you understand what you are looking at. Again, I partnered the, okay, I'm going to hit pause. I see a question with Maureen. Is that correct, Maureen? Do you have a question?
Sorry, I was just making the screen bigger.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to get my attention with your hand. Thank you.
Oh, no, sorry.
Nope, no problem. Okay. I want to make sure that you understand how I then partnered the calendar with my purposeful thought download, my purposeful model. If you look to the window of July 29, and you have a hard copy of this as well in the material that I sent you. If you look to the window of July 29, you can see that my weight was 159.4. Now, I liked to work my calendar in week segments when I would set my present weight and then my intentional weight. I would use the 7-day segments because Sunday to Sunday is just a really, really great window for me to work within. And it makes sense in my mind. It feels comfortable. And on Sundays, I tend to evaluate where I am with my personal goals, my family goals, my schedule, all those things that set me up for success when Monday comes. Okay. So on the 29th, I weighed 159 pounds, 0.4, and I had set my intention to be 156 within that 7-day period. So on my paper calendar that sits on my wall next to my full-length mirror, I wrote 159.4. And then I skipped down 7 days and I wrote goal 156. Okay. So as I went from the 29th to the 30th and the 31st and the 1st, you can see that I was logging my weight. But seeing that goal weight sitting there for August 5th was very important and very motivating to me. I knew that my goal, I wanted my body and my thoughts and my actions, I wanted all of those different components to propel me and support me in meeting my goal of 156. Okay? I was diligent in my efforts, I logged my weight, and I believed in my success. Every day I logged my weight, and as you can see, when the 5th came, I was 157.8. I really had not quite met the goal, and that's okay. I still had made progress, and that's the important thing. On August the 5th, I evaluated where I was, 157.8, and then I looked down to the 12th, and I set my goal, okay? And I intentionally put it 3 pounds lower because I wanted to continue to move forward. I wanted to kind of have a little bit of a gap so that I was pushing myself aggressively. So after the 5th, you can see I logged my weight and I actually came into a space of achieving 155 by Sunday the 12th. So I then came in under the goal of the 5th, but I wasn't quite at the goal of the 12th. And for me, doing this stair-stepping activity in 3-pound increments felt like it was challenging, but also very manageable and doable, okay? It kept me on fire and it kept me a little bit out of my comfort zone. You get to decide the number that feels good to you. The real purpose here, though, is that we're working in an increment of 7 days and setting a desired goal at that 7th day. And then we're evaluating, do we meet it? Can we realign it? Do we need to make it bigger or smaller? And then we're setting another goal that falls 7 days further into the calendar. This is called the stair-step approach. And what it does, it allows us to have lots of micro wins on our side where we're accumulating, we're gaining progress and losing weight in those small increments, and we're having a cumulative effect. Now, if I had put 145 in any of my Sunday windows, I would have felt defeated. There's no way I would have felt like I could have done it, and I would have given in to desire, and I would have given in to overindulgence, and I would have set myself up for actual failure rather than success. I want to take a moment and look at Sunday the 29th again, which is 159.4, and let's scoot all the way to the 25th. I was 151.2. Within a 4-week period, I was able to lose 8.2 pounds, which is very significant, friends. That is a respectable weight loss. The stair-step approach is what set me up for success. I absolutely promise you. And keeping that goal between your 7-day marks within like a 2 to 3 pound range feels so doable. You can do that. And you're going to get behind your choices in supporting yourself so that you do take action and you actually do accomplish those goals. And pretty soon, after 2 and 3 weeks, you're going to be like, wow, look at what I've done. I've accomplished 6 pounds. I've accomplished 8 pounds. I've accomplished 10 pounds. And that's putting you closer to the end result of what you truly desire at the end of the spectrum, which is your goal weight. Okay? Do we have any questions on the stair-step approach at this point? It's very important. It's very powerful. And I don't want to let anyone slip through the cracks. If you have any questions at all in how to implement these last 3 strategies that I shared: purposeful thought download, purposeful model, and intentional calendaring. Okay, yes, Jillian, I'm going to unmute you. One moment. Yes, friend.
I think
Oh, sorry, I muted myself. Hello, everyone. Quick question. I get the concept, and I'm wondering if someone has, well, if myself, if I have more weight to lose, would it behoove me to increase that goal maybe into the 4 or 5 pound, or
As long
not?
as it doesn't feel discouraging. We
Okay, so
want
it
to keep
really is.
it really is individually based.
Okay.
I have had weeks where I lost 4 and 5 pounds. And it's from doing this process, and it came on more in my September calendar. But I have had weeks where I made huge shifts, and I was like only hoping for 3 pounds. So I was pleasantly surprised by a 4 and a 5 pound weight loss. So it's very
Beautiful.
personal. And the thing I want you to stay in tune with is, how does it make you feel?
Okay.
Can you get behind it and support it successfully? And that's where you're going to know whether a 3 pound mark or a 4 pound mark or even a 2 pound mark. That's how you're going to know how hard you need to be pushing yourself.
Beautiful. Can I piggyback one more thing? Should I map out my goal now for the rest of the month, for instance, or should I do it week by week?
I encourage week by week.
Okay.
I mean, we're logging daily.
Of course.
Pick a day in the week that you know is a good day for you to like get accountable with yourself and to focus in on that future goal.
Okay. Got it.
But if I had mapped out the 29th down to August the 26th, I might have set myself up for failure by trying to be too aggressive. Okay. And we really want success. We want micro wins. We want this slow and steady cumulative impact to be supporting us as we're moving forward.
Beautiful.
It took a lot of time for us to find this weight and bring it on. It's going to take small and purposeful increments of time to take it off. So I would suggest keeping it in a 7-day window. Thank you, Jillian.
Thank you.
Okay. On to our next slide. We're going to talk about urges and indulgence. Okay. Sorry, there we go. Okay. Now, there is a difference between having a true need and an urge or an indulgence, okay? When we are hungry, the sensation starts in our stomach, and it's kind of this small little growl and feeling of discomfort that signals our brain that we truly need nourishment. That is a signal for well-being. When we desire to indulge in false pleasure, the signal comes from our brain and usually travels into our body. A lot of times we are entertaining thoughts of boredom, frustration, disempowerment, sadness, and that's when we slip into an urge or an indulgence, okay? Now, urges and indulgences are always wants. They're never true needs. Think about when you've been shopping and you end up buying a beautiful, expensive handbag, but you already own 3, okay? Do you really need another handbag? Possibly not, but you really want it, and it's beautiful, and it's going to look so good with your outfit on Easter Sunday, right? So you want to really be aware of where you're sitting with your body in distinguishing the difference between true need and well-being versus false pleasure. You can see I identified the definitions again here on the screen. True need, it's a sensation that starts in our body and then cues our brain, like going to the restroom. Okay, think about that for a moment, ladies. When we go to the restroom and we have a full bladder, it's a need, and our body lets our brain know, okay, it's time to go to the restroom. False pleasure always starts from our brain because of an unprocessed emotion or your mismanaged thoughts. That's how we know the difference between the two, and the way to become in tune with that, and also to see whether our brain's being sneaky or not, is to ask ourselves, is this a true need, or is this a desire and a want of indulgence? Urges are real. That's why people steal things and go to jail, right? Urges exist. It is our primitive self giving into our primitive self because of desire. So we need to be very thoughtful about that. And the handout that I sent in our paperwork does a beautiful job communicating between the differences of well-being and urges and how to handle our urges. Now, I want to assure you, I am doing the work with you, friends. I have had a very long relationship with Diet Coke, and Diet Coke and I are intimately connected. I have had decades of a love and a passion and a support of the habit of Diet Coke. This is not a need. This is a want. And if I told you the stories of my life about how I've altered my activities in order to have Diet Coke in my space, you'd just like, you'd laugh until you wanted to cry. Just for instance, I'll give you a quick one. I was eating at a breakfast restaurant one time by myself while my daughter was touring campus for college. I sat down, and this was in a small community where they didn't have tons of restaurants all together. The restaurants were kind of like dotted throughout the community, and it required traveling. You had to get in your car to go to the breakfast restaurants. You couldn't just walk down the sidewalk. I sat down, and when I looked at the menu and saw that they served Pepsi, I got up and left. I told the waitress, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to eat here. I got up, got in my car, and drove to another breakfast restaurant, which I called in advance to confirm they served Diet Coke. And I took myself 10 miles across town to have Diet Coke with my morning food. Okay, that's ridiculous. So know that I'm doing the work. I understand the true power of your urges and your wants and your desires. And I'm going to have you know I have given up Diet Coke since this time in my life. But I'm still, thank you, Jillian, I am still met with genuine urges and genuine temptations. I know it's hard. So hang tight. You're going to be able to handle this. Our urges and our indulgences are not emergencies. Our brain wants us to believe that they are. And in that moment, I chose to make my urge an emergency. And I picked myself up and drove 10 miles to a different restaurant so I could have Diet Coke. That's crazy. But that's how strong our urges can be in our lives. That's how strong our habits and our addictions, whether it's Diet Coke, sugar and flour, ice cream, that's how strong these things can impact our lives and our behaviors. I want to assure you they are not emergencies. You can practice constraint. You do have the capability of exercising your better choices and your constraint to make and choose better. You do not have to answer these urges and these desires, but you do have to process them. And that's the kind of unfortunate side of the story. The urge is going to show up and remind you that you really love sugar, or you really love pasta, or that I really love Diet Coke. And it's going to sit with me and it's going to agitate me, kind of like an irritating scratch or an itch that's on the bottom of my foot. It's going to feel like a 10 on the scale of important things to satisfy. But I get to be in charge of my choices. I get to be in charge of how I handle that urge when it surfaces in my body and in my mind. And I absolutely promise you that you are capable of sitting through and coming out successfully on the other side of the urge. So again, I have provided you with some success strategies to look at within the paperwork so that you know how to get beyond the urge. 2 or 3 that I think are most powerful are: 1, know that your urge is going to pass. Within about 8 to 10 minutes, our urges subside. So if you can sit with the discomfort and assure yourself that you are capable, and that you are confident in your ability to honor your commitment, I promise you, it eventually will pass. It's just a matter of time. So allow time to be on your side to support you in going through the urge. And you know what? Create a more purposeful intention in that moment. If you're experiencing an urge and you're really feeling, very vulnerable, call a friend. Ask your friend what they're up to. Have them speak about their activities in their life in that moment. The distraction with your focus will allow that urge to pass and you won't give in. So take advantage of leaning on your husband or wife, a boyfriend, girlfriend, a best friend, whoever is available that you can redirect your focus toward. That will support you as well in processing the urge. I'll have you know, I have called a friend on more than one occasion having a little bit of meltdown over sugar cookies and Diet Coke. And thank goodness my friend knew what my ultimate goal was, and she was able to talk me off the edge. She was able to talk me off the cliff of failure. So lean on your friends and your family members as needed, and get them on board first and foremost, though, so that they can support you and they won't be joining you for a sugar cookie and a Diet Coke. Okay, change your environment, okay? If you're experiencing overwhelming emotions of urge and desire, shift your environment. Go for a walk. Go to your bedroom and do some reading. Go start the batch of laundry. Maybe take your sweet little boy or girl over to the park and offer to push them on the swing for 10 or 20 minutes. Get in your car and go drop off your dry cleaning. Whatever is required, know that by having a few strategies in place, you can handle this emotion. And last but not least, of course, allow yourself to do some writing. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What's behind this? What meaning am I attaching to this urge or this feeling? Allow yourself to sit in that space of doing some writing so that you can work through it, and you'll have a little bit more knowledge and wisdom on the other side to support you when it comes around again. The more successes we accomplish and the more successes we accumulate in processing our urges, the easier it becomes to work through them and the less power they will have over us. I promise you, you're going to be increasing your evidence that you're capable of honoring your goals and your commitment. You're going to be increasing your evidence that the urge is not that important. And those things alone, those two things right there, increasing your evidence and increasing your success, they're going to mean more to you. They're going to hold more power in your life, and they're going to really support you in moving forward into that next space of accomplishment for your next goal that you've identified on your calendar. Okay? I absolutely promise you can work through this and you will survive. The urges are not emergencies. They pretend to be, but they are not. And as human beings, we have the privilege of making better, more purposeful choices in what we do and what we do not do. Okay. Last but not least, I promised you that I would have a surprise for you at the end of the call. I have a beautiful worksheet and reading available that's focused all around goals. I have a worksheet that I designed that speaks to having a 30-day goal. It reminds you how to set goals and you use goals in your lives. And so I'm going to email that out to each one of you. I would really, really love for you to take advantage of that tool and let it support you as we're moving through our weight loss and we're moving through this work together. Goals are important, and having a specific weight loss goal that is achievable, that's incremental, and it's going to provide you with cumulative successes is very important. So thank you again for tuning into our week 3 class. Know I'm going to email this to you. And now I want to give you the opportunity to raise your hand if you have some questions that I can answer. I know we have a few friends that had to take their camera down and they can't be active with us in this moment. If you have a question that you want to send me via text or email, please feel free to do so. And friends who are also watching this recorded replay, please send me any questions through text or email and Slack, of course. Slack is very, very helpful. I can address them for you on a one-on-one basis. Okay, girls who are with me live for this class today, any questions I can satisfy and answer before we say goodbye? Let's see, I'm going to come and unmute you. All right. Maureen, Jillian, Laura, anything you want to contribute? Any thoughts?
I loved your dress.
This one or the one I'm working into?
Both, but the one you were working into, it was great to see that visual. It got me very inspired. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. I'll tell you something that's really fun and that feels like a little bit of a win on my side. Okay, this dress that I'm wearing today is a size 8. And I've owned this dress for a very, very long time. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Oh,
I bought it years and years ago before I put on a tremendous amount of weight. And I think I only wore it once or twice. And being able to wear it again has been so rewarding. I want to assure you, I've done this work. I was over 200 pounds. I was in a space where the couch and laying on the couch while my kids were at school sounded far more inviting than making a protocol and then getting my walking shoes on. It almost makes me cry. I want to promise you, I know the realities of what we're doing, and I also know that the real success is right there for us to just snatch and take and embrace and own. And I want that for every single one of you. Thank you, Jillian. That was a really
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay, any other technical questions on the side of weight loss strategy or mindset strategy? As we move into week 4, 5, and 6, and we're using the tools of the stair stepping with our weight loss goals and the purposeful thought download and the purposeful model, you're not already there and you're not recognizing how amazing you are and how important you are to yourself in your life. these tools are going to just really open that door a little bit wider so you can step into it and own it and feel it, because you do. We all matter, and you matter. And honoring this commitment to yourself and having the win on your side, it's a game changer, and you deserve it. Okay. No further comments or questions. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate it so much. I'll have a recorded call ready to go for you. I'll send you the link for week 4. I'm going to miss not seeing you here on camera and having our one-on-one calls, but know that I'll be thinking of you. I hope you have a beautiful, successful week 3 and week 4. Again, have a great day.
Hi, everyone.
Bye, friends.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.